GMGP, good morning, good people. Y'all could have been anywhere in the world, but y'all decided to wake up with us. You're sick. You're sick in the head. There's a lot of fantasy football shows out there, but I promise y'all, they not like us. Brock Bowers, you looked a little quicker than fast. What does that even mean? Redraft, dynasty, best ball, high stakes, we got you covered. And that's MVS and Justin Watson with some of the dopest tools designed to help you cancel out the noise and dominate your leagues. If there's a white wide receiver named Antoine, sign me up. Maybe it's cultural. I don't know. In season or off season, rain, sleet, hail, and snow, comma, semicolon, period, next sentence, to bring you the most actionable and entertaining content on YouTube. You don't go buy the dip on the Titanic.
Quarterback that you love, D-Bro. One of the best values in fantasy football.
Prop bets with my man Jay Rich.
Is that yes! Let's go!
So wipe the crust out of your eye, get you a cup of coffee. It's time to wake y'all asses up. We're Ray
and Jay
in the morning.
My God.
How good is
Dude,
he? How good is he? Let's get it, GMGP. It is Monday, March 10th, 2025. Y'all decided to wake y'all asses up with myself, Ray G, and my brother from another mother, Jay Rich. You can find him at your boy Jay Rich. Y'all know where to get me, at Ray GQ. NFL free agency is going down, baby. It's going down. We got players changing teams, signings, $250 million, all types of shit going on with the best soap opera in the world. That is the National Football League, and we're going to talk about it. We got an hour in the show today, and immediately following Wake Up, right, like an hour after we're done, make sure you pull up because Jay Rich and I will be on Bleacher Report's main channel, on YouTube, on the Bleacher Report app, as we'll be covering all things NFL free agency. So if you don't know, right here, there it is, Bleacher Report, their YouTube channel, at Bleacher Report on YouTube. Jay Rich and I will be on there today, tomorrow, and Wednesday covering all things NFL free agency. So make sure you pull up today. Check us out over on the Bleacher Report stream as we continue to talk through some of the same stuff that we are going to talk about today on this show. But I'm excited, baby. Who we got in the building? What's happening with you? Slashy, GMGP to you, Slashy. Ray, raise the volume up. Okay, am I a little low? Am I a little quiet? Am I a little OGQ quiet? I'm 90 volume, baby. I got yellow on the screen, man. Turn that shit up, fantasy sports rookie. Turn it up. I think your mic is effed up. What's wrong with the mic, Jay Rich? Is the mic
I think
bad?
You're good. I think your audio might have been my audio might have been coming through and conflicting with yours, but you're good now with the music off. You're good.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, there we go. Stop making me sound bad. Come on, dude. You didn't do anything to prep for the show, and then you got me sounding bad. Adam, what's going down with you, man? Good to see you in the building. Kong the King, what's happening with you? We got DK. We're going to talk through that. Panthers, QJ Smith, Joe in the building. What's happening with you, Marcus? I hope you're having a great Monday as well, my guy. And for everybody out there pulling up for the first time, we have a fun time on this show. We talk ball, we engage with the chat. We only ask you to support, man. Support by hitting that thumbs up button, subscribing to the channel. And I know because 65% of y'all who watch this channel, you're subbed, but another 35% of y'all are not. So hit that subscribe button, support the channel, help us grow, tap into all things that we're doing, and make sure you follow the Fantasy Football channel as well. Scott, Connor, JB, Mitch, Brandon, the crew, they're doing good work over there. Well, that's not the fantasy channel. There it is, DDFFB on YouTube. They are putting out instant reactions. You see right there, Scott, Connor, DK Metcalf. I was on there talking to the Davante Adams deal, Scott and Shane. I mean, the team is grinding. So support DDFFB as well for all things fantasy football content. All right, Jay, I think I got through enough of the housekeeping. How you doing this morning, my friend?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I've just been basically taking everything in. I didn't think we'd get this crazy of a pre-free agency as we did, but it's been exciting. And, you know, as much as we wanted to kind of talk about our expectations for free agency for anyone who is trying to tap in, it's 11:30 Eastern time. It's me, Ray, Kurt Benkar, and James Palmer. I'm doing the main feed for 2 hours. So 2 hours through your lunch for a lot of you guys, or if you're on the West Coast, you're just waking up, talking all things free agency, the rumors, what's happening. And I'm sure we'll touch on a little bit of what we hit on this show as well. And then 8 p.m. on Tuesday and Wednesday on BR. That's Eastern time as well, recapping everything from day 2 and day 3. So Ray and I are going to be on BR a lot this week, talking all things free agency. But I'm excited, man. We got a lot of good news, and I'm sure there's lots still to come. It feels like one of the better free agencies we've had in maybe the last 5 or 6 years.
Yes, we got a lot of stuff before the actual period opens today. What time does it actually open today, the free agent period?
I think noon Eastern.
Is it noon
I think noon
Eastern
Eastern.
time that it
I
actually
think so,
opens
yeah.
up? Okay. But we got a lot of news. We got a lot of news that broke over the past couple of days, and we're going to recap some of the deals that happened, 2, 3 days ago, but how it impacts some of these teams, what people are thinking about right now. But I think the biggest news, some of the biggest news, at least the biggest money, was the biggest dog of all, the reigning NFL MVP, Josh freaking Allen. My God. Let's pull it up and talk about it. Josh Allen's new 6-year, $330 million deal with $250 million fully guaranteed. Josh Allen. Wow. Air horns for Josh Allen. I honestly don't know what else there is to say. He deserves it. Best player in
Yep.
football, won the NFL MVP award, put his team on the back on a season where a lot of people thought the Bills would be on a down year. And the Bills didn't just stop with Josh Allen. I mean, they paid a lot of people over the past couple of days. Allen got a deal. Defensive end Greg Rousseau got a 4-year, $80 million deal. They kept linebacker Terrell Bernard in the building. And Khalil Shakir got that 4-year, $53 million deal a couple of days ago. So the Bills keeping their core together. Josh Allen, $250 million, largest guaranteed ever to an NFL player. What's crazy is he just edged out Deshaun Watson by $20 million, whose $230 is still up there as the second largest guaranteed contract ever handed out to a player, which is insane.
Well, didn't
How do
Dak,
you feel?
Dak got 231, didn't he?
Did that get 231? I know
I think
Watson
Dak got
was still up.
231.
I don't think it's fully guaranteed. I do not believe he got
Okay.
231 fully guaranteed. I believe it was in the 100-something million for Dak, but neither here nor there. Josh Allen, top dog. What are your thoughts on the deal?
This actually makes a lot of sense for anyone who is either a Bills fan or was like tracking what the Bills kind of had to do to get under the cap and potentially sign some of these guys. Like, this is the biggest thing they could have done. And now you look at what he's going to be paid this season, it's not a whole lot. And so that's where, from a team perspective, this makes a lot of sense so they can help continue to build up this roster. And once it came through, I was like, okay, this makes a lot of sense, only because I saw how cap strapped they were. Didn't seem like they have a lot of moves to make in free agency. We know they need to kind of add some pieces potentially to this roster. So happy for Josh, man. It makes him the highest paid quarterback in the NFL, and it's great for the Bills for their cap situation heading into next season. So I think it's a great move for everybody. And I think, Ray, we're getting to that point now where we're starting to see those NBA type contracts in the NFL with the TV rights and some of the other contracts we're going to get to. We saw, I believe, 3 different contracts kind of reset markets a bit. We saw the non-QB market get reset multiple times this past week. The top QB market got reset. And then even with DK Metcalf's, the mid-wide receiver contracts.
Yeah, we'll talk through those. We'll talk through those. What do you think this contract for Josh Allen, how this is going to impact the deal for this man? And if you're not watching on YouTube, you're listening on the podcast feed, make sure you subscribe to the Wake Up podcast feed as well for those days that you can't be here live. But we got a picture of Brock Purdy, one of the most efficient quarterbacks in the NFL over the past 2 years. Reports were the 49ers started out at about $45 million per year for Brock. He's seeing these deals. How is this Josh Allen deal going to impact negotiations with San Francisco 49er quarterback Brock Purdy?
I think it'll be the same way that Saquon Barkley's deal impacts James Cook. Probably not a whole lot, but maybe it slightly gives a little more edge to the fact that he can demand that 55, 60 million. We talk a lot about around that number, 55, 60, right around where Dak is. Allen's obviously way surpassed that now, but he's a different level of quarterback as well. So I think when it comes down to it for Purdy, it's do the 49ers even want to stomach a $55 million contract or not? I think that's the number we got to look at. I don't think we get to 60 for Purdy. I know we kind of talked about it a lot, but do you really think, Ray, 60 is in the cards for Brock Purdy?
No, I don't believe 60 is, but I think it'll be in the 50s when it's all said and done. He's going to get it.
Right around Jordan Love, I think, is probably.
What was Love?
I believe Love and Lawrence are in that 55 range.
I think he'll be. That's where I think he'll be at. I think when it's all said and done, he'll get a T-Law type contract. But 6 years, $330 million, $250 guaranteed for Josh Allen. It pays to play QB, my friend, because Josh Allen is making it happen. We also had another change of heart. It's crazy how, or not so crazy, how money will cure some of those ailments. The right amount of zeros on the end of that check will cure all problems. and it seems like all things have been solved, cured, and resolved in Cleveland as Myles Garrett has agreed to an extension with the Cleveland Browns, including $123 million guaranteed, $40 million per year for Myles Garrett to stay in Cleveland. There were reports all weekend, Jay, that Myles Garrett was unhappy. He went to go talk to the ownership. Ownership said, I'm leaving you on red. We ain't got nothing to talk about. There's nothing to talk about. And the next thing you know, very next day, we got a lot to talk about. Myles Garrett isn't going anywhere. Thoughts on this deal? Thoughts on the change of heart and Myles Garrett staying in Cleveland? Good deal for the Browns locking up Myles Garrett.
Yeah, it's a good deal for the Browns. It's just the way that it all happened was kind of ridiculous. Like, for the owner to snub Garrett to then still give him the contract that he wanted and him signing it with no real potential, like to air everything he aired out in the media or through the agent or whatever you want to call it, about how displeased he was, how unhappy he was, how he wanted out. Maybe it was all negotiation, but it still was very odd. You don't see it kind of play out this way. But Ray, there is a player who is looking for an extension, and very near and dear to your heart, actually.
I know.
How do you think this deal could impact an extension for potential Micah Parsons? Younger, maybe not quite as productive in terms of sack numbers and pressures, but still a top edge rusher in the NFL, and definitely deserving of maybe just around that contract at the age he's at in Micah Parsons.
Yeah, this is, Dallas loves paying, when you fill out that credit card and it's got that 39.99% APR if you miss one payment. That's Dallas, man. They love paying.
And last week it was 30.
Yeah, they love paying interest, man. I've never seen a franchise just enjoy paying that 39% interest like the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, price of the brick is higher. I think the Bengals fans, Cincinnati, they're in the same boat.
Cincinnati, same boat.
Things that are happening with Jamar Chase and the fact that you should have already paid him, putting T. Higgins on a franchise tag again. As far as Dallas and Micah Parsons, he's going to command more. He's 26 years old. He's 26 years old. He's on a Hall of Fame trajectory. At least if I'm his agent, that's the case that I'm making. And I'm going to want more than Myles Garrett got at 30. Myles is 31, 30 years old, I believe, Myles Garrett. Hell yeah, I'm going to want more money. 31. So they just had to shell out $123 guaranteed. Mike is probably not taking a cent less than $125 guaranteed, more than $40 million a year. I don't know what the Cowboys do. This is what happens when you wait and you delay. You got to deal with the repercussions, and I think it is going to hurt them significantly in the pocket. There are a lot of people talking about trade. I'm not going to go that far. I do not believe they should trade Micah Parsons. This is the bill that's due, and you need to pay it. It's like water and heat. You need it. Doesn't matter what the bill is. You need water and heat, so you got to pay the bill, right?
Yeah, I mean, they did a good job, right? So right now, heading into today, at least without any more restructures, they're at $48 million, right? So they made a lot of restructures. They do have some cap room. There's been a lot of talk about them potentially making some moves. They signed the defensive tackle, which $80 million, I think, over 4 years.
Yeah,
they got him re-signed.
Mm-hmm.
But Micah's still the biggest question mark. And with this new contract, and you kind of brought up Jamar Chase as well, the Bengals have said they want to make Jamar Chase the highest non-quarterback in the NFL. And that price has gone up significantly ever since they said that. So it'll be very interesting to see how things shake out, because they do have to get that Chase deal done. Higgins is on the franchise tag, hasn't signed it. Trey Smith signed the franchise tag this morning, though, for the Chiefs, so good for them. He's going to be on the franchise tag, and he's already signed it, so no concerns there. But yeah, very interesting to see this Myles Garrett deal and the way it played out after hearing that Jimmy Haslam denied a call with Garrett and a meeting to then into the highest non-quarterback in the NFL.
I think it's going to be a problem. They're going to have to pay him. They're going to have to pay him, and you waited the same way they waited for Dak. They waited on CeeDee Lamb and had to pay a little bit more. They waited on Micah, and they let Myles Garrett sign before he did. It's just, you don't do that. You just get him paid, you get him locked up. But Micah Parsons is going to get the bag one way or another, whether it's Dallas or, heaven forbid, another team. But Myles Garrett and the Browns, they're back up, Jay. Myles Garrett and the Browns are back up. We also had some news, a trade. Jay Rich, we had a trade a couple of days ago that I don't want to sweep under the rug at all. I think this was a savvy move by this organization, this franchise. I believe it's going to help this team out, and it also adjusts some things that we've been thinking about or talking about for the direction this team could go in the offseason. And I'm talking about the Houston Texans trading for Christian Kirk. They traded a 26th, 7th round pick to the Jacksonville Jaguars in order to get Christian Kirk. And I'm just going to say, I absolutely love this. Love this deal for the Houston Texans. Love this for CJ Stroud. And I love it for Christian Kirk. He's an upgrade over Robert Woods. I don't want to discredit how good Tank Dell was or is when he's on the field, but this is a
Yeah.
veteran wide receiver who will be able to come in and replicate some of the same things that Dell had. Maybe he doesn't have quite as much quick twitch at this stage, maybe not as much juice, but I don't think they're lacking at all from the slot position. He fits well with Nico Collins. I love this for the Houston Texans and Christian Kirk.
Yeah, it's interesting because you bring up Tank Dell, who we don't expect to play, right? Because he just got his second surgery, I think, which was to
they said he's out.
The ACL,
they said he's out for the
right?
25 season. He's out.
So very, very unlikely he's even back at all. And like I said, we don't even expect it. So at this point, you brought up Tank Dell. You didn't bring up Stephon Diggs, though. And so that's my question to you is, do you think that Christian Kirk can replace Stephon Diggs? Because in a lot of ways, we talk about Dell and what he was to the offense, but it really wasn't until Diggs went down that we kind of saw that ascension from Dell from the wide receiver 3 position to be that wide receiver 2. And we know that Nico's going to be there. We know now that Kirk's going to be there. They're paying him $17 million. They traded that 7th to get him under contract and take on that final year of his deal. But do you think he can replace Diggs? Because I don't really know if he can. I think they're different types of players in the way they play, but he's definitely an upgrade for what they have. They're going to see him with Nico Collins. We knew they needed more, and now they have Christian Kirk and Nico Collins, so we'll see where they go from there. But I still think they need to do a little bit more to kind of get to where they were or close to it heading into the 2024 regular season.
Yeah, I don't think it's the same. I think they're fine. I think they're fine. Sure, they still need to add another player. The question that you're answering is Christian Kirk Stephon Diggs? And I would say probably not, but can he occupy and be deployed in a similar fashion and role that Diggs was and have success, gain yards? Absolutely. You look at what Diggs was able to do with CJ Stroud. I have no questioning confidence that Christian Kirk can replace and replicate the same type of production that Stephon Diggs did. I absolutely believe that can be possible in Houston with CJ Stroud. They've got to improve their offensive line. And if anything, I think it gives
that's the problem.
It gives a better projection for what the Texans need to do in round 1. Every single mock, it was either Luther Burden, Emeka Egbuka, Matthew Golden, some form of wide receiver in Houston to help CJ Stroud. You've upgraded that position. Now you can focus on the trenches. You can go to the defensive line. You can focus on the offensive line. They released Shaq Mason. We know they've got to improve that. So I think this frees them up inside of the draft, especially in round 1 or round 2, that they don't have to spend a significant pick on a receiver in this class by trading for Christian Kirk.
Yeah, and that's where it'll be very interesting to see what they do, right? They only got $4 million cap space. The only reason why I didn't love the move was because I already knew they were pretty cash strapped, and we knew they needed to improve the offensive line. But maybe their thought is, okay, we can bring in Kirk.
And they gave up a 7th round pick, dude. Like, I'm not about to shit. Like, I don't care what they gave up a 26th 7th.
No, but they have to still pay his contract.
That's fine.
And if you don't think he's worth $18 million, then
he's worth $18 million.
Okay.
You could pay him. Tommy Trimble's getting paid 10 a year. We could.
I know they're paying Dalton Schultz a lot of money too. We
could stomach Christian Kirk's 18. His contract is not a reason why this was a bad deal at all. This was a great deal for Houston to get a proven veteran to come in and help your quarterback out. $18 million is not going to determine the outcome of this trade. This was a good deal, man.
Yeah, like I said, I'd rather them improve the O-line, but we'll see. Stroud's got to be better. The O-line has to be better, and just for me and this is where it's like, is Christian Kirk going to save this team? Because when everything
nobody's saying Christian Kirk is going to save this team. You're assigning 50,000 feet over the cliff. Nobody is saying this is going to change the trajectory of the Houston Texans franchise by bringing in Christian Kirk. All people are saying is it's a good deal. When Tutu Atwell's getting paid $10 million and you're talking about 18 for Christian Kirk, it was a good trade for the Houston Texans.
We'll find out.
This dude,
everyone's talking about Tutu getting $10 million. Like, okay, we all know he's not worth that. But Ray, talk to people about the real trade that went down over the weekend.
Let's talk about it. Where's my girl Joe at? Joe. Joe and Geno. What's going on? Geno Smith traded to the Las Vegas Raiders for a 25 third-round pick. This happened. When this happened? This happened Saturday?
I think it was late Saturday, yeah.
I think it was Saturday night that Geno Smith took his talents, man. They wrote and he wrote back. He wrote to Las Vegas, and now he is a Raider, paired back up with Pete Carroll. You've got Chip Kelly as the OC. Let's just talk about the shockwave of this one. And it's not even for me, the fact that the Raiders went and got Geno Smith. That makes sense. There was a lot of rumblings that they wanted a veteran, that they were in win now mode. I believe that was the direct quote. They want to win and compete this season. My bigger head scratching, just confusion. What the hell is Seattle doing? What are the, I didn't get this from Seattle. I'm still trying to wrap my head around this one here. You move off of Geno Smith to go sign Sam Darnold, Aaron Rodgers, Sam Howell, Jackson Dart. Let's start with Seattle. Why did Seattle make this move, man?
So we'd already known that Geno was a little bit unhappy with what's going on. He wanted an extension last year of his deal, and Seattle didn't seem like they wanted to give it to him. So at that point, it was, could he be on the move? Would they extend him? And kind of what did they end up doing? And now you have a situation where they don't have a quarterback, but it appears like the plan is Sam Darnold. So by, noon today, we may find out Sam Darnold is getting paid $120 million over 3 years, an upgrade over the Baker contract of a few years ago, and he is the new starting quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks. And so if that's the plan, and it goes to plan, how do you feel about that, Ray? Because you traded Geno for a third to the Raiders. So if you think that Sam Darnold and Geno are comparable quarterbacks, which I don't think is ridiculous, depending on how you look at each player, you still get a third back. You got to, run it back with a new quarterback and kind of figure it out. I think trading Geno is actually the smaller move that we saw from the Seahawks over the weekend, and the bigger move we'll get to a little bit later. But I don't think it's that bad if you don't think that Geno is that good and you want to just try and go another direction.
Yeah, I'm reading the chat. Brandon Mills said he requested a trade. There was another comment from Justin. It wasn't Justin. Somebody said Adam Zaff. Shout out to Adam. He said Geno apparently turned down 2 for $40, as you were alluding to, Jay, with no counter. Yeah. So turned it down. Again, I like this for the Raiders. I think a veteran quarterback coming in, I don't think this stops the Raiders from investing in a quarterback in the draft, but probably not at 6 anymore. I think this takes them out of the running for a quarterback at pick 6, but I do want to ask, because if they've got their QB of the future for at least the immediate future, the next year and a half, 2 years, does it make it even more plausible that the Raiders go Ashton Jeanty at pick 6? This is a team and a player and a fit that we've started to see more and more hype, more and more smoke, more and more steam around Ashton Jeanty going top 6, with the Raiders bringing in Geno Smith, no Shedeur Sanders probably at 6. What do you think about Jeanty to Las Vegas now? Is that more realistic in your opinion, Jay?
Absolutely. Yeah, it was on the table even beforehand, because we'd already heard a lot of rumblings that Pete was potentially interested. We know that Pete loves to pound the rock, right? So if
Chip
he gets
Kelly
that feature
too.
running
Chip
back,
Kelly too.
That's true.
Chip too.
Chip, and maybe Chip will go get one of his old running backs in the second or third round to see who's available, right?
Old Judkins or Henderson, yeah.
But that's what makes this interesting from the Raiders. And remember, Ray, I told you probably 2 weeks ago, this is my sleeper team, man, that I think could make some moves and really, really surprise people. And it's not because I thought they'd get Geno Smith. It's because they had almost $100 million in cap space. They got Max Crosby back, which is another big move for them. They've been trying to build this team to actually compete and win. And I think Geno obviously makes them much more compelling in that regard. The division is still extremely tough, and I don't even know if this takes them out of the bottom of their division. Probably not. But it's a very interesting and compelling move. And in some ways, Ray, maybe makes the AFC West now the most compelling division in football. Now, the Raiders are also trying to compete and contend with the Broncos, Chargers, and Chiefs.
Nick said, I like Geno, but this is not the NFC. Good luck competing in the AFC West. I thought about this morning, man, and it's crazy to think about a division window opening up when a team has gone to the damn AFC title like 8 straight times. Team just lost in the Super Bowl, and we're talking about now's the time to strike in the AFC West, but I believe so. I honestly believe this is, I guess, as vulnerable, and again, saying this after this team was just in the Super Bowl seems wild, but it's as vulnerable as I felt Kansas City's been in a while. They've got to rebuild this offense. The running game, offensive line struggles. We saw some of the deficiencies show up pretty much all season, but it bit them in the ass when they least needed it to happen in the biggest game. But I feel like if you're going to make a move in the AFC West, you need to do it now. Before Bo Nix and Sean Payton figure it out. Before Jim Harbaugh gets his team together. It's year one for the Chargers. Like, he doesn't have a second receiver. There is no running game. The defense is still lacking. So you've got some time before he gets everything together. You've got the Raiders there, and then, of course, the Kansas City Chiefs, right? Like, this is the time to strike if you're in the West. Do I believe the Raiders are good enough right now? No, but on top of the Geno news, they got Max Crosby back. There was a lot of speculation that Mad Max might be on the move. They re-signed him to a mega contract extension. So they're bringing their guys back. Yep. They haven't had to give up significant capital. I like this. A third-round pick. They still have their 6th overall pick. They still have their picks in the 2nd round for the Raiders, top of the 2nd round. I like the direction that they're going. I think this is the right direction for this franchise. Good trade. Again, what is Seattle doing? I don't know, Jay. I don't know how much of an upgrade Sam Darnold is from Geno Smith, man.
So I think that the real thing here, right, that's interesting is, what is Geno going to cost? Because that's the one side of this that we haven't seen yet. We haven't seen numbers come out as to what the projected contract will be, or at least I haven't seen them. And what does Seattle get Sam Darnold for if they sign him today, which we kind of presume at this stage that's what's going to happen. Because maybe for Seattle, it's like, okay, Geno's not going to take less than 35. Sam's willing to take, 30. Maybe to them that's worth it. So there is still some to figure out, because we do need to see a Geno extension, and we do need to see what Sam Darnold's ultimately going to be paid if that comes to fruition. But I'm with you. I think this is a great move for the Raiders, and we'll see what happens with Seattle. But they have a lot to figure out, not just in the next coming days, but the next few months, because this was not expected. And when you talk about a division that's kind of potentially wide open, the NFC West is wide open.
You talking about what, the NFC West? Talking about the NFC West?
For all the time to kind of blow it up and change trajectories when you don't have a high pick and we're not really sure, like, it just seems like it's the wrong time. But I get that maybe they understand their ceiling capped under Geno, and we all kind of saw it this season, and so they decided to make the move.
Well, somebody said in the chat, I saw somebody in the chat, I thought for sure they were going to draft Shedeur. This is why when I do these mocks, I'm giving you every scenario, because we don't know. It seemed like that was the team fit, but we're still 45 days away from the draft. So much stuff can change. So my question to you is, Shedeur's out of the Raiders draft running, Jay, at least at 6th overall.
You think so?
I think so. Not at 6. I don't believe you can take a QB at 6 after you bring in Geno Smith, trade a 3rd-round pick to get him, and then you just talked about the contract extension that he's going to get. We talked about the team at the top. My first thought, when I saw Myles Garrett sign with the Cleveland Browns, after seeing all of Cleveland's tweets about Cam Ward and Shedeur, I think 2 is the new spot for him. Jordan Reed mocked him at 2 in his latest mock. I believe so did Kuiper in his latest mock. You got more people not subscribing to the clickbait narrative on X that he's a bad kid and all this other stuff that Brugler or McShay were alluding to last week that got circulated all over social media airways. But where do you think this puts Shedeur Sanders in his potential landing spot? I think it's 2 at Cleveland. With Cleveland bringing back Garret, I do not think they take Abdul Carter. I think the Giants are trading up to 1 based on what we've heard so far. And if the Giants move up to 1, it's for Cam Ward, not Abdul Carter or Shedeur. Cleveland needs a quarterback, and bringing Garret back, I don't think that they're going to take a defensive end at 2. I don't believe that. So I guess Hunter or Shedeur Sanders for the Browns at 2.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. This makes it seem much more plausible that Shedeur could be the 2nd overall pick. And while I wouldn't have said that a week ago, and I definitely would have said that 2 weeks ago,
I know
it does make a lot of sense. And it's funny because the Giants are the ones that are going to get screwed in all this. And the more we talk about free agency, whether it's on this show or later throughout the day, there is a lot of unfortunate things happening to the Giants right now. They already missed out on Stafford, right? And they even were going to probably lose out to the Raiders for Stafford. There's, who's they're going to be their quarterback now? Can they get Shedeur? Can they trade up for Cam Ward? And even the steam for them trading up Ray is starting to go away a little bit, because initially the odds were a lot closer for the Giants to make the 1st overall pick, and they've since kind of fallen back a bit, and Tennessee still seems inclined to take that 1st overall pick and make the selection. And so if that happens, then what do they do?
Well, so go with that
it
scenario.
Makes a lot of sense.
So you're saying Tennessee stays at 1, they take Abdul?
They take... no, I think they take Cam, because right now, the odds and the numbers say that Cam is still the first overall pick. I'm still of the camp that Carter's an option, but Cam has been impressing a lot of people, and in my opinion, his stock is still rising. So I think the pick would be Cam if they did decide to take a quarterback and stick at number 1, and I think Shedeur's at 2. But then what the hell did the Giants do at 3? Seems like it'd probably be Travis Hunter based off of their projected, who they have on the roster already and kind of what they need overall. But what do they do at quarterback? Because I'm sure if you've seen the rumors of Aaron Rodgers, but I don't know if you saw this morning that with some of the recent developments in the NFL news and some things changing, Aaron Rodgers is potentially headed to Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, I saw that. Yeah, I was going to get to that. That's a great segue. That's a great segue, Jay, because I think that's where we're going to go next. Are we going to go? Well, no, we'll go to his buddy. Want to go to Adams or you want to go to Rodgers?
This is signing, right? So
let's go DK. Let's go Steelers first. Because I got a lot
DK.
Let's go DK. We can go Adams. Let's stay Adams because DK and Pickens will be an interesting one. Let's talk Davante Adams. Signing with the Rams. 2-year deal. $46 million, $26 million guaranteed for Davante Adams, who was rumor, speculation that he and Aaron Rodgers were a package deal. I never bought and believed that. Adams smashed down the stretch. I mean, Scott and I were on live talking through this whenever the news broke that Adams would be going to the Rams with Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford and Puka Nacua. And I just went through his box score, like last 10 games from October 31st to January 5th, whenever they started playing. I mean, it was like 12, 13 targets a game. Every game for Davante Adams. Every game. And he's catching 5 to 7 balls every game. Not a lot of yards because the Jets' offense was pretty bad. But I believe Davante Adams has a lot left in the tank. A lot more juice than Cooper Kupp had left in the tank. We pulled up his usage over on ddfantasyfootball.com. For those of y'all who don't know, we got the best damn usage tool for wide receivers and tight ends in the game. TrustTheTrinity. Follow the dots. Adams' Trinity much higher than that of Cooper Kupp last season. You layer him over that Rams team. Like, this should be a really good fit with Puka Nacua, with Matthew Stafford, with Sean McVay. Adams said he wants to finish his career out here on the West Coast. You know, he played ball at Fresno State. What are your thoughts on this one, man? This was, again, another player in a team fit that I didn't hear any smoke about, Jay. I didn't hear any smoke about the Rams tooling up to get Tay Adams. But after winning a playoff game last year, Rams are like, we're trying to go get it. We got Stafford back. We are going in. The defense is played well. They invested heavily over the past couple of years. Give me your thoughts right here, Jay Rich.
I think you have an upgrade on the offense because he's going to be an upgrade over Cooper Kupp. It's pretty straightforward. I think the only question to be remained, Ray, is there any world Davante Adams is the number 1 target in this offense? Because it's not to say that he should be or he won't or he's going to see the most targets, but maybe in some ways he can be that slightly more productive Cooper Kupp that's great in the red zone, great in short space, that Stafford can rely on, much like he had when Cooper Kupp was really, really good. And then Puka can obviously be a massive compliment to that because he loves Puka and Puka's great as well.
No.
So I think it's just
the answer to your question is no.
No.
The answer to your question is unequivocally no. They've already talked about building the offense around Puka Nacua. He led them in just about every statistical category last year. And now you're talking about a 32-year-old wide receiver coming into a new team and then assuming that role. The answer is no. It's Puka Nacua.
Not assuming the role. I think it'll be very good, though.
Yeah.
Like, I think
Adams will be the complement to Puka Nacua.
Receiver.
Davante Adams will be the Puka Nacua complement.
Who scores more touchdowns?
That right there, I said it last night, I think there's a chance where Adams is the touchdown monster. I mean, even Cooper Kupp with Puka Nacua there was a favorited target of Matthew Stafford in the red zone. Adams' ability to win high point balls, back shoulder fade, quick.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think he can be a factor in the red zone, but I think this is Puka Nacua's offense, no doubt.
Yeah, I love the fit, though. Like, I think Stafford's going to be great with them. We know Stafford loves to have very experienced veteran receivers. Like, it will be very good, and I think, like you said, he can just do similar things to Kupp, but at a much higher level at this stage of their careers. And it's a great upgrade that I didn't see coming. I thought they'd be going straight defense, but upgrading the offense, and I think LA is going to be the team to beat in the West next year.
It's the injuries, right? Cooper Kupp, the injuries just took a toll.
Sure.
Father Time is undefeated. Luckily for Davante Adams, he hadn't had any like serious injuries of late that have knocked him out and for extended periods of time. I love the fit. I think this offense, they just didn't they re-sign an offensive lineman? I can't forget the name. think it was last week. They re-upped somebody on the O-line because they traded one of them away. You bring in Davante Adams. Defense is loaded with Verse, Byron Young, Braden Fisk. I love it. I mean, if I'm playing fantasy football, he's one of the old veterans that I want. Like, I want this old wide receiver. I think he is going to be very, very good in this offense with Sean McVay.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's a great fit for both parties. But should we head back east? Because I know that you're dying to talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers and DK
But let me
Metcalf.
let me see what the chat's talking about, and then we'll go to break, and then we'll get in there. My man, Jay Witt, getting buried in L.A. Yeah, Whittington is a complimentary asset at best. Adams could still separate with the best of them. Absolutely, Ike. John said, I'm low on Davante with the Rams. If anything, it's buy time for Kupp/Puka. I don't know why you would be buying Cooper Kupp.
You don't like Cooper Kupp? He can end up in a decent spot.
I'm good.
What if he goes to Jacksonville, Ray? I've heard that rumor. Back with Cohen?
Buy for what? Buy for what? What am I paying to get Cooper Kupp?
Third rounder.
Sure.
You wouldn't pay a second, but you'd maybe
not
pay
a second.
a third.
No, a third, sure.
Yeah.
Third, sure. You won't, hold on, Trip Crown, you wouldn't say this nonsense about JJ. Puka is top 5. Puka is
JJ's
top
better
5.
than Puka.
What else do we have? Puka injury will make him number 1. I think, listen, Puka's the one. Can I see a game or two where Adams leads them in targets? Yeah. Where Adams leads them in yards? Sure. Absolutely. I could see a world where there's a game or 2 or 3 where Adams gets fed and he feasts and he does his thing. But this is Puka's offense, and if anything, I just want to bet on good offenses. This is good for the run game. This is good for Kyron Williams. You know, you've got another threat on the outside to make sure defenses stay honest. They don't stack the box. Ultimately, this is a great offense. You invest in good offenses. I want to see the Rams invest in a tight end. They got Colby Parkinson coming back. I believe Higbee is still under contract, I think. But I would love for them to invest in a dynamic, young pass-catching tight end. I think that would be dope for the Rams to do that this offseason, especially in a draft class where you have so many talented, good tight ends. You might as well take one. I'm taking one if I'm the Rams.
Yeah,
but
they've taken a couple shots recently. It just hasn't really worked out.
Yeah, Davis Allen. They took a shot on Davis Allen. That did
late. They tend to take shots. It doesn't work out.
But, I mean, go get Terrence Ferguson. Go get Aronde Gadsden out of Syracuse. Go trade for Michael Mayer. Go trade for Mayer. The Raiders are talking about Mayer.
I think they would want a block first for this offense.
Block first? Okay.
Makes sense.
Okay. All right.
Probably,
makes sense.
yeah.
All right.
Like Hawes out of Georgia Tech would be a great fit for this offense, I think.
Jackson Hawes. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Jackson Hawes. Nice. All right, let's hit the break. Hit the thumbs up button. Like the stream. We'll be right back. We got to talk DK Metcalf. We got Aaron Jones news. More news from NFL stuff. So hit the like button. We'll be right back after the break, baby. Appreciate y'all being in the building. This is Wake Up with Ray and Jay over here on the channel. We have a good time every single Monday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hey, if you're in the Central Time, 8 o'clock for me. This old daylight savings had old GQ discombobulated this morning, Jay. My son was like, why is it so damn dark driving to school this morning, man? Damn daylight savings, but we appreciate everybody being in the building. Hit the thumbs up button, like the stream, and again, I know y'all watch the channel. Y'all support by hitting that subscribe button. 65% of y'all that watch are loyal. Y'all support, but 35% of y'all are lazy. Hit that damn subscribe button, help the channel grow. Jay Rich, also our DDFFB channel is cooking. Scott Connor and Mitch and JB and the gang dropping content every single day, literally every single day. So make sure you subscribe to DDFFB on YouTube and all our podcast feed. Wake Up with Ray G, Let's Talk Ball, all that stuff on Apple, Google, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever the hell you listen to your podcasts at. We got more news to talk about, Jay Rich. We got to go to DK. Let's talk about it, man. The Seahawks getting busy, getting rid of folks, man. Tyler Lockett, you can go. Whoever's playing tight end, you're gone. It's A.J. Barner season. And DK Metcalf, you want to cry with your pacifier, we'll get your ass out of town too. Traded him to the Pittsburgh Steelers for a 2025 second round pick, and Pittsburgh gave him the bag. Gave him the bag, Jay Rich. 5 years, $150 million contract to stay in Pittsburgh. Not sure how much of that money was guaranteed. DK Metcalf is a Steeler. He wears 14. George Pickens wears number 14. What is happening? And what is Mike Tomlin going to do with this wide receiver core? Who's throwing the ball? I don't know. Just where do you want to go with this one that I did not see DK to the Steelers, Jay?
Yeah, it's a move that definitely wasn't really talked about or discussed, at least as a pairing. But when we talk about the Steelers, they have been dying, Ray, for a wide receiver one for like a year and a half at this point. They've been in on just about every guy from T. Higgins to Brandon Ayuk. They went and got Mike Williams. Now they're trading that second round pick where they normally draft a receiver and they go and get DK Metcalf and they say, you know what, DK, we like you so much. We're going to give you $150 million. I'm sure at least $100 million of that is guaranteed. It would almost have to be at this point. And we're really seeing this inflation of, I don't want to say mid wide receivers, but good wide receivers. Like DK was the guy that Seattle wanted the first and a third for, I believe, and everyone laughed them out of the building over a couple days. And then the price came down to a second and teams started being interested. But now you have a situation where, okay, cool. You got George Pickens. You paid and traded for DK Metcalf. Maybe Russell Wilson wants to come back now because he's an option. And obviously there's familiarity with DK there. And then you also have a situation where now Aaron Rodgers is interested because they have two dominant pass catchers and a running game potentially, deciding on what they do with Najee Harris. But the Steelers have a lot to figure out, especially offensively. And the best part, Ray, DK and Pickens, they ain't going to get the ball because Art Smith, he's got to establish it, baby, and throw the ball to Darnell Washington.
Was this a message to Pickens, who is due for a contract? I believe this is the last year of his rookie deal. He's drafted in 22, so 22, 23, 24. Yeah, this is the last year of Pickens' rookie deal. This is probably a similar type of deal that he would be looking for. I don't believe George Pickens is going to command Jamar Chase level money. But was this a message, and is this a clear signal to Pickens that we've got your replacement? To me, they seem like they do the same thing. They seem like they're the same archetype of wide receiver. So, in your opinion, how does this play out? Is this your 1-2 punch for the next 5 years? Does George Pickens turn around and get $150 million at the end of this season, or is this Pickens is going to be on a new team here? Hell, does he start the season in Pittsburgh?
That's a great question. So in terms of the contract, I'd be really curious what he would demand on the open market because I don't even think he's the level type of receiver as DK. If you're talking about the skill sets, I think DK can do a little bit more than Pickens, while DK can also do the things that Pickens does very, very well. Pickens is 24, DK is 26. So again, not much of a difference in terms of age there, but it is a bit of a message. Absolutely, it's a message. But because even heading into this season, there was talks of in the middle of the season that maybe Pickens could be moved and he could be replaced potentially. So this isn't entirely surprising to me because we had heard some rumblings of Pickens maybe overdoing his welcome and his antics maybe being a little bit more trouble than they're worth. And the funny thing is, like, Ray, the best part is I just want to see Pickens on another team because maybe he's even worse than he already is, just like all these Steeler wide receivers, the divas that they are. I think they can operate together, though, and I think there's a world where it could happen. It's just going to depend on how much Pickens wants for his extension and whether or not Pittsburgh wants to pay up for it, because the problem is last year they weren't paying a quarterback. This year, they're going to have to pay a quarterback something, and that's going to determine what kind of the moves they make and how they build this team, because you're not getting $2 million for your quarterback room in 2025 like they had last year.
Yeah, I'm pulling up their usage from last year just to show how interesting this is going to be with this team. And they've already got DK Metcalf on the what team is he on? The damn Steelers. He's on the Steelers. It's already got him on the Steelers. So I pulled up the usage. This is the Trinity tracker. Follow the dots. It's the usage tool on DD Fantasy Football. All the shit that you like. Targets, first downs per route run, yards per route run, yak, everything makes up their composite usage score and shows you what they're doing relative to the team and all this other stuff. Look at Pittsburgh, man. This was DK last year, and this is George Pickens last year. So this was DK's usage with Seattle, but I'm going to do this. Look at how piss poor Pittsburgh's passing offense was, Jay. We'll just go Pittsburgh Steelers. It's DK Metcalf, it's George Pickens. That's it. Those are the only two that are even inside the wide receiver 3 territory. After that, you got Muth down here a little bit lower, and I believe Calvin Austin with a 4.49, giving you 7 points. Both of these guys, based on the type of volume that they got, DK in Seattle, George Pickens in Pittsburgh, they underperformed expectation. They underperformed what they were doing, and a lot of this is based on the quarterback. Like this chart tells me right here, the QB play was absolutely dreadful, that you've got two guys, or at least Pickens in Pickens' case, utilized so much but didn't produce a lot. So we'll track it and we'll follow it. This is going to be an interesting situation to see play out, and we'll see if George Pickens is actually on the roster at the start of the season. Quick initial, just gut feels, Pickens there to start the season.
Yeah, he's going to be there. I think my question to you is, who's the quarterback going to be?
Rodgers, just pray for something.
You're going Rodgers?
I'm just going to tell you, right?
I want it to be Rodgers because then the Giants can't get Rodgers. I can't see
Rodgers, a Rodgers, Metcalf, Pickens offense. Talk about
I just
drama.
need to see it. I need to see it.
I bet you it'd be a train wreck, dude. It would be, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not.
But you think about for Arthur Smith's offense, I think Rodgers is actually a really good quarterback fit for his offense, more so than Russ even. But yeah, I think it's probably going to be Russ. I think signing DK and trading for DK is maybe a nod towards Russ a little bit with his former teammate. But we'll see where some of these guys end up because, I do want to see Rodgers though.
I gotta ask. Hold on, man. I gotta ask the chat. Let's get this shit off. What is y'all's infatuation with Joe Milton? I don't get it. Maybe I'm skewed because I was a Joe Milton truther like 6 years ago when he was at Michigan.
You were, yeah.
Half of y'all don't even remember he was the Michigan quarterback before Shea Patterson and JJ McCarthy and all those guys. I wouldn't be trading a 3rd round pick for Joe Milton. I know that people get excited from that.
Any GM is doing that.
I don't see it, man. Jay Rich, are you on the Joe Milton train? And you're a Pats fan.
I mean, so here's the funny thing, right? Don't get me wrong, he looks really good against the Bills. Like, he had a good game.
Oh, yeah.
But if someone wants to go trade a 3rd or even a 4th for Joe Milton, like, we better take that shit.
I mean, this is... it ain't just a wake-up stream. There's a lot of people. Go trade for Joe Milton.
People love Joe Milton. He's big, he's fast, he's strong, he's got a cannon arm.
Y'all ain't watched that man play football longer than
that.
There's a lot more football in that Bills game. My opinion, that would be a hard pass for me, Joe Milton. That's just...
He looks good in a preseason game, people. It was a preseason game.
Just
because
my
all
opinion,
the
I would pass on that Joe Milton. Minnesota Vikings are 1,000% passing on a running back in round 1. They do not have a 2nd round pick. They re-signed Aaron Jones, 2-year, $20 million, $13 million guaranteed. See, this is what I love about Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones recognizes his lane. I'm a damn running back. I'm not going to stall this thing out. The grass is not greener. I'm staying here in Minnesota. Give me my money. I'm chilling. Would love for them to pair up a round 3 running back with Aaron Jones, maybe a Caleb Johnson in round 3. Caleb and Aaron Jones in that backfield would be nasty with JJ McCarthy at quarterback. Thoughts on Aaron Jones and the Vikings 2-year deal?
I think it's fine. I was hoping for the rookie, though, but I think it makes sense for JJ McCarthy just to have a veteran running back that can maybe help him bring along the offense and things like that. I think there is some value to that, and Jones being in the system for the previous year can definitely help McCarthy kind of continue to become the starter of the future for the Vikings. Not necessarily what I was hoping for, but good for Aaron Jones, good for the Vikings offense.
Oh, God. Ike, Joe Milton can play.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Love it, man. Love it. We also had another, somebody said there, Buckeye DK said, y'all going to eat your words when he gets a shot. I'm not saying he's not going to get a shot to play. I'm telling you, he ain't finna do shit. That's what I'm saying, Buckeye. We could bookmark this and come back to it and talk about it a little bit later. What else do we have? What other news? Oh, yeah. Here we go. Let's go. Big Ertz. Zach Ertz re-signs with the Washington Commanders. I said this last week. I was like, I hope they re-sign him. I hope they re-sign him. Cheap. He's probably going last round in underdog. Nobody wants old Zach Ertz. Look at that. The Eagles trying to trade Dallas Goedert and Zach Ertz still getting re-signed, man. Zach Ertz re-signed. This was good. This is good. Go look up Ertz's numbers towards the end of the season. When he
was cooking at the end of the season.
I mean, he was cooking
really
with Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
This where's D-Bro at? Where's my boy D-Bro at? You know I love you, D-Bro, but it's probably not Ben Senate time. And it's probably not the time for the senator to get it done in 2025 with Big Ertz back in Washington. What else did we have, Jay Rich? I think we had another one. Oh, this is a good one.
Oh,
Ronnie
it's
Stanley.
not good.
You thought your Patriots were going to get him.
Not good.
Not
yeah,
happening.
because you're willing to overpay.
Not
and
happening.
Then Baltimore's like, nope, sorry.
Ronnie Stanley staying in Baltimore, which is good for Lamar, good for the Ravens. That frees up what they can do with that 20. I believe they're picking 27th overall, 28th overall in the draft. Ronnie Stanley back in Baltimore. So the Ravens lock up their left tackle. And, your Patriots are still in need. So that 4th overall pick probably going O-line.
No, hopefully not. But I guess we'll see. Yeah, Ronnie Stanley back in Baltimore. Good for him. Good for the Ravens. It was a move that I felt they should have made, and glad they made it for Lamar. So it's good.
Oh, man.
Pats are going to get screwed, man. It's not looking good for us.
Here we go. The takes. It's take time. We got 5 minutes left in the show. We're on Bleacher Report right after this. We'll be on the Bleacher Report main channel covering all things free agency. Jay, here's one from Dan Smith. Joe Milton over Shedeur Sanders. Not Shedeur, Shedeur with 2 D's. What are your thoughts there, Jay Rich? Milton or Shedeur Sanders? Which one you want?
I mean, Ray, let's run down the numbers real quick.
Oh,
so who's got more passing yards in the NFL?
Joe Milton.
Who's got more rushing yards in the NFL? Who can throw the ball further?
Oh, God. Uncle Rico can throw it over a mountain, and that means absolutely nothing.
I'm just saying he's got that prototypical 6'5" frame. You stood next to him. He's a big guy.
Oh, now you got Joe. You got Joe feeding into this BS, man.
Shedeur next to me.
Nick, I'm not doing anything, Nick. I'm going through the chat, and I saw Dan Smith put Joe Milton over Shedeur. So I had to just ask the question.
Okay, so here's the question for you that I think this is actually interesting. Who do you think would have the better season? Shedeur Sanders on Cleveland or Joe Milton on the Giants for all 18 weeks?
Shedeur. Dude, have you not seen Joe Milton play? What are we talking about?
I've seen Joe Milton play, but I think it's just funny.
Listen.
Both teams are awful.
Maybe he's changed from his collegiate career and he's improved and all that stuff has been worked out. I watched a lot of Joe Milton, both at Michigan and at Tennessee. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it.
But the thing is, Ray, the wind. How's Shedeur's arm going to hold up in that swirling winds off Lake Erie in Cleveland?
Ray, you always preach traits, and Milton has those. What? Y'all.
Yeah, what traits does Shedeur have?
This was not on the show sheet to talk 5-10 minutes about Joe Milton. Yes, you've got to have tools and traits, but you got to be able to play too. You got Joe Milton. You know what that feels like? You pay him to be it feels like you're getting Tavares Jackson, a worse version. I think you're getting a worse version of Tavares Jackson as your starter. Can he go out there and take some snaps?
Tavares Jackson 4-3?
Tavares was fast, but he wasn't as big as Joe Milton. But I did not know that there was so much love for Joe Milton out here. I mean, the whole damn chat.
But this is why I hated seeing him succeed in that one game.
Not Buckeye, DK, Milton. Look at Buckeye.
Joe Milton.
You're talking about me. Damn Buckeye, Milton and NY would eat. Feed
and then
families.
Justin Brooks, Joe Montana, Milton.
Dude,
we
got to get off of here, man. We got to get off here. What else? Any other free agent news break while we were on the stream? Anything happening, Jay? Because this is
not that I've seen. No,
this is all off the rails at this point with Joe Milton. There were a couple of other Hollywood Brown 1-year deal for Hollywood Brown in Kansas City.
That kind of sucks, though.
You didn't like it? Why not? Why not?
Because I hoped they could run it with Xavier Worthy, pending any potential issues.
Well,
there.
no.
Rasheed Rice,
nothing.
pending any issues there.
X is good. X is good. The DA is not pressing. It wasn't his fault. No, it ain't.
It wasn't his fault.
It wasn't him. Like, he didn't do anything.
Oh, it wasn't him.
It wasn't him. He didn't do anything.
Because the NFL suspended guys for nothing before. So
no.
This is true.
This is no. This isn't one of those things. This is truly, he was protecting himself. All this. There's nothing.
Okay.
There was something that happened.
I was hoping it'd be Worthy, Rice, and then Kelsey, because he's going to come back too.
Hey man, Fredo going off.
We'll see.
Fredo ready to fight. He's like, what the hell is going on? We had another one here. Harold Landry to New England. Your Pats did make a move. Harold Landry.
Yeah.
Good with Vrabel. I'm good with it with
It's just
Vrabel.
Vrabel getting one of his old guys, so hopefully he knows how to maximize them. But we'll see.
They got money to burn, right? They got money to burn, right?
Well, let's not burn it all. You know what I'm saying?
You got a lot. And I like Harold Landry with Vrabel. Got
one of his guys.
He's not Abdul Carter. Not at this stage of his career. He's not Abdul Carter, but in the event that Carter's not available at 4, another common player with the team, at least they've got another edge rusher there. They've got an edge rusher in the building, so it's not as high as a priority need. You know, Travis Hunter is probably the ideal player that the Patriots are hoping
favored to go there right now. Yeah,
falls to him. And if you get Shedeur and Ward, off the board within the first 3 picks, you guys have pretty much guaranteed yourselves Travis Hunter in New England.
Exactly, right? So we'll see. But it's interesting.
Right.
It's interesting the way it's shaked out with free agency so far and how it's shaking up the draft.
Yeah. What else do we have? New England. We got Flacco. Justin saying Flacco, an option still out there. Zach,
I wanted to ask you about this.
Yeah, go ahead. Flacco?
Well, not Flacco, but Daniel Jones apparently wants to go to Indy. Did you see that?
I did not see that, but talk about that quickly before we get out of here.
So
Daniel Jones
obviously, Anthony Richardson, still the projected starter, but there's been a lot of talk about how there'll be an open QB competition.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Jones has thought about going back to Minnesota. That's been an option for him. Seattle, I'm sure, is on the table a little bit now as well, but apparently, and I believe this was this morning or yesterday from Rappaport, just talking about how Indy is apparently a potential fit for Jones based off of kind of what his priorities are and where he potentially wants to play, because he knows there's a chance he could start there. And so I think it's interesting because he's a dude who's been often forgotten about, but probably just as deserving as anybody else to be a starter or at least a high priority backup heading into this offseason and free agency.
Interesting. Okay. I mean, they've been very outspoken that the job ain't just his. You know, that you're not going to just be handed this starter's job. I mean, I know this. Who scores more as the starter for the whole year? Daniel Jones is the quarterback for Indianapolis, or Anthony Rich? If A-Rich starts the whole year, he's scoring more, right? If he starts the whole year. If he starts the whole year.
If they go 50-50, though, it's kind of a toss-up. But
if they go 50-50, that didn't end well for A-Rich nor Daniel Jones. If they split 50-50, yes, the Commanders cut Jonathan Allen. He was released. Tyler Lockett was released from the Seattle Seahawks.
Evan Ingram and who else? Kirk was going to get released.
I mean, Liam Cohen cleaned house. I mean, Evan Ingram, you can go. Christian Kirk, get your bags. You can go. ETN is probably shaking in his boots right now, thinking, "Shit."
If he was on a rookie deal, right?
Yeah, I'm still on a rookie deal, man. What are you in here doing, Liam Cohen? What's going down? See, Fields. Let's end here with your boy. Let's end here because we got to get on. For Bleacher Report, your boy, player that you talk about at great length on this show, Justin Fields. There's, depending on what you believe, the smoke or the buzz, there are multiple teams interested in his services, the Jets being one of those teams, potentially Pittsburgh. Where's Fields play? Does he get a shot?
I don't know, man. It seems like he's in line to potentially have a shot, but I think there's too many quarterbacks ahead of him, because even Daniel Jones may have a better shot of starting today than Justin Fields. But he is an option for Seattle, right? Like he truly is. And there have been reports there's going to be a market for him because he's not going to be overly expensive. And so for a quarterback who you can take a shot on, not too expensive, I think a lot of owners are going to be interested in something like that, because while Sam Darnold is plan A right now, as it seems for Seattle, maybe Justin Fields is plan B, because they're not going to have to spend a lot of money on him and they can kind of see what he's got and develop him over time. So I think there's a lot of things that could happen for Fields. It just doesn't seem like he's in a advantageous position right now with all these potential starters that could be available, because we haven't talked about Kirk Cousins either. And there's reports that he wants out, and Cleveland could be an option for him. You know, it's just one of the ones that's thrown out there because of his connection with Stefanski. But I've also seen reports that Arthur Blank isn't necessarily going to let him walk either. And they may keep him as Penix's backup.
Nah. I just gave you $100 million.
They've already guaranteed his contract. There's no reason for them to get rid of him prematurely.
Have you seen that Denzel clip? Said, I'm leaving with something. I'm from around the way. I'm
Kirk's
leaving.
leaving with something.
Arthur Blank is getting something from Kirk before he leaves.
But yeah, there's been conversations with Blank about leaving. And
God damn it. I gave you $100 million.
And he apparently said that he doesn't want to just let him go, right? So there's that side of things as well, and kind of how that all shakes out. But it'll be interesting for sure.
Yeah. All right. We got somebody said there was breaking news about Joe Milton, and then I saw the rest of it, and then I stopped reading because I know it was just bullshit. So let's go ahead and wrap this one up, Jay. Don't hit the music because apparently the music made everything sound bad. But we appreciate y'all pulling up. Wake up. We normally would have gone a couple of hours today, but it's free agency period. We'll be on Bleacher Report, so pull up and check us out over there. We appreciate y'all jumping on the stream. Make sure you subscribe, like the video, comment below, and stay locked into the DDFFB channel. Myself, Scott Connor, Mitch, John, Brandon, all of us will be going live periodically throughout the day to give quick hitting analysis and recap on any of the signings, any of the trades, any news that happens over the next couple of days. We got you covered. So we appreciate you being here. Jay, anything you want to say to the people before we get out?
No, just tune in. Bleacher Report, YouTube channel, 11:30 Eastern time. Me, Ray, James Palmer, and Kurt Benkar will all be live talking all things free agency. And then next week, we'll be back to wrap everything back up.
We'll do a Friday show. I might do one on Friday.
Do Friday?
Yeah, we can do a Friday show. We'll do a Friday show. We'll do a Friday show this week.
It's a big week.
We got a lot of, it's a big week. We can do a Friday show. We'll do a Friday show. So we'll see y'all on Wake Up. Make sure y'all wake y'all asses up on Friday. Friday, we'll be doing a Friday show. So y'all have a great one. Have a great Monday. Subscribe to the channel. We'll see y'all later on. We out. Peace.
Peace.